decide to make Joe the backup and not Shedeur?
Yeah, Joe's the backup.
What? Listen, I think I said it on Sunday. Anytime you're in this league, I mean, everybody's always getting evaluated, and got to the point and had a good conversation with them about it, and it is what it is.
Kevin said,
these people, they don't watch football. Dillon Gabriel is officially the starter for the Cleveland Browns. And it's something that, as a Shedeur fan, I called a while ago, and it's something that made the most sense. So today, instead of Kevin Stefanski explaining to you, which he will explain, but not in a very good way, I'm going to explain to you the football reasons why this makes sense. Now, I do want to point this out, and I've been, again, y'all can go watch my channels. I'm a Dillon Gabriel guy, too. As much as I'm a Shedeur guy over everything, look, Dillon Gabriel was a 4th to 5th round projected guy who was known for great processing skills. He also leads FBS in career touchdowns, right? So he is a historic, led his team to the college football playoff, beat the eventual national champions in the, I believe, Big Ten or just a regular season matchup. So there are things that I told y'all that Dillon Gabriel could do. I told you he was going to be a baller, but more importantly, it goes deeper than that. It goes deeper than just Dillon Gabriel's better than Shedeur. No, it goes down to offensive systems, and we're going to go deep into Will Stein's system, show you that, and we're also going to debunk some things because, you know, the Cleveland media, you know, who gets paid to speak about football and give you analysts, all they want to do is scream about fake leaked reports about Shedeur. Now, I want to say this. Is it possible that Shedeur, there's actually some leaks and about Shedeur underperforming or not doing what he needs to be in X, Y, Z? I live in a world where that could be possible. And maybe that's the reason why he's still going to be QB3 and Joe Flacco is going to be the backup. Or maybe does it have to do with Stefanski's spread wide zone offense that is also extremely akin to Stein's? Maybe it has to do with the Browns reaching on the 4th to 5th round projected guy because they liked him so much. Maybe it has to do with the fact that this was the plan the entire time. And this is not a Shedeur getting cast aside. It's just the timing, baby, and it might be perfect time. So let me break it down to you. We're going to talk about it from a football perspective. But first things first, we have to hear why Shedeur is not going to be the backup and why Joe Flacco's the backup.
I'm sorry?
Why now?
Yeah, just my decision where I felt this decision was best for the football team.
Joe slide into the number 2 role?
Yes.
Why did you decide to make Joe the backup and not Shedeur?
Yeah, Joe's the backup.
So as Kevin Stefanski eloquently put that, Dillon Gabriel's the backup, and that's it. Coach Kevin Stefanski on new starting quarterback. We're going to read that. He asked again if there was any discussion about just about bumping Sanders to QB2, and he said, Stefanski said, my focus is on the game. Joe is the backup. So some people can consider this protecting. Some people can say it's just Kevin Stefanski dodging every question like he's known to do. But, you know, I think it's super interesting to see that. But I want to go from a football perspective because people like this right here, right, are going to freak out and are upset that people are asking for Shedeur. So for my Shedeur fans, I'm going to actually educate y'all instead of doing this.
But the bigger question is the Shedeur question that's looming.
What is the Shedeur question?
You can't get to Shedeur until you go to Gabriel.
Well,
that's right.
Not going to happen.
And that's what I'm saying.
We gotta find out.
What
right?
if? Right. And what if? But here's my point.
That's
what
why
if
I
Gabriel?
don't understand why we're sticking with Flacco.
The Shedeur question is...
I brought this up before.
Guys,
if you're going to go to Dillon and Shedeur's got a chance to play at some point, why wouldn't you just let Joe go? I like Joe.
The only Shedeur question that anybody should be asking is, would they go to Zappy before they'd go to Shedeur? And I think the answer is yes.
Okay, so if the answer is yes, then why does Shedeur remain QB3, the emergency quarterback? Why has he been the emergency quarterback this entire time with Bailey Zappi, who's a vet and knows the Brown system? Again, are we going to go football or are we going to go emotion? But continue. Go ahead.
They do not want to see Shedeur Sanders anytime. It's why every day there's a new leak coming from that building about.
So every day there's a new leak.
How unprepared he is and how he's walking around the building, not doing what he's supposed to. You think the Rex Ryan thing that came out the other day just came off the top of his head and he made it up? No, that's what everybody has been hearing. Darryl Ryder sat in your seat yesterday, said the exact same thing. Shedeur Sanders, you guys can make it the focal point of the YouTube chat, and we appreciate all of you guys for tuning in real time. The numbers are off the charts. But YouTube, the fact that you guys are investing so much time in a guy that was the 4th string quarterback before they traded away the guy they really wanted to be the starting quarterback.
Okay, so they traded away the guy that they really wanted. why did they keep Shedeur on the roster? Why not put him on the practice squad? Why not cut the 5th round pick? Go ahead.
Should tell you all you need to know. Your dude fell for a reason. There is a reason that you guys thought he was top 5 and the rest of the league thought he didn't.
No, ESPN, Greater Media, PFF, they called him a top 5. And I'm happy that the Browns are participating in this revisionist history. But no, the Brown, like ESPN people had it. Peter Schrager and on the ESPN Cleveland. Wait, do I need to pull that up? Nah, I don't want to sidetrack. Here's what I do want to do, because this is what happens when people like this, they get a little emotional. They start Rex Ryaning, right? And what Rex Ryan is and what he's doing is they're adding mustard to things that aren't true. Here is what Daryl actually said about Shedeur. He didn't say anything about him walking around doing nothing. And you notice how it always changes. Rex Ryan was, he's not sitting in front and he's not studying. And then that was disproven. We showed pictures of that. And now, he's walking around not doing what he's supposed to do. It sounds like you're just making things up. Let's hear it.
The National Football League, Dane, the people around Shedeur Sanders colluded and conspired to fail to begin with.
Okay.
And the drop. And then, he's a high-profile, highly popular kid. And just like with any employer, you're not on recruiting trips, okay? Teams are not recruiting you in the pre-draft process. And I kind of feel like that was part of the issue, that Shedeur wanted to be recruited in the pre-draft process. That's not how it works. You're applying for a job. You have to get the teams to want you as well, because in the National Football League, like whatever he did in college, and this isn't just Shedeur, it's all these college quarterbacks. The stuff that you get asked to do in college versus what you're asked to do in the National Football League, it's night and day.
It's not the same sport.
No, it's not. But what I mean, I'm talking about study, preparation. The playbooks are infinitely more intricate in the NFL than they are in college. You can't play street ball in the NFL. Just ask Johnny Manziel. He'll tell you all about it. Also, about as much as he hated Cleveland. But he'll tell you, you can't play street ball in the NFL. That doesn't work at this level. And so it's not that, from my perspective, I don't think it's that Shedeur is a bad kid or whatever. It's just he has to develop his game. And the Browns can only do so much to do that. And, from what I have heard, he's doing things outside of the facility to work on his game. He's going to fields and throwing and things like that.
So here's my question. I don't even know what this dude's name is. You're yelling, you're popping a blood vessel over this. You're telling me in the same interview where, hey, what I'm hearing, and notice hearing, because the first time Shedeur has even posted about his workout, which was yesterday, we shared it, other people have been posting him working out. And I know I yell at y'all in your ears about, Shedeur also gives back and he doesn't post it. There are more proof of Shedeur. This was taken last Friday at my local high school. No publicity, no media. He just did it because he's a member of our community and wanted to show support to the local kids. This is the person that we're talking about right now. I need y'all to ensure this is the type of person that angers them. Shedeur Sanders. So not only are you mixing the words that he said, did he say some things? Hey, Shedeur needs to be better. He needs to develop. Hey, he needs to take another step. I guess you can extrapolate that. How you take those words in which he ended, and this is so crazy. He ends with, hey, I've also been told, what the actual leaks that have been told to me are that he's putting extra work in. How crazy is that? How crazy is when I told y'all yesterday, hey, Tony Rizzo reported the Dillon Gabriel thing. His sources reported it before anybody else. And I was like, that's interesting. Why wouldn't why wouldn't Rex Ryan's comments about him not showing up, why wouldn't that be reported by Tony Grossi in Rizzo in 92.3 The Fan? You're telling me Cleveland media in Cleveland with media and Cleveland connections can't figure it out, but they can figure out a day or two before when the quarterback is going to be changed? How much does that make sense? There's a leak every weekend. Where's the leaks? I go back. I was looking on. Do you know what I spent this morning? The reason why this video is coming out late, I was like, you know what? Because I trust Daryl. Daryl Reuter, he's fair with Shedeur. He's one of those guys. He doesn't side talk Shedeur. He keeps it like it is. Hey, he's super fair. So I appreciate him. So it means a lot when he says something. Again, like it means a lot if Rizzo says something. Like it doesn't mean anything when Rex Ryan says anything. And now, whoever this dude is, it don't mean nothing whenever he says it. Who, Lima? I don't know. Ken Carson? I don't know what his name is. Okay? Voice crack. But I'm looking at this. I tried to find a more clip. Where's the leak that you're screaming about right here? Where is the notion that Shedeur is not? No, the best I can extrapolate that is, hey, Shedeur is not ready. He needs to do more developing. Now, we as Shedeur fans need to sit down and acknowledge that. I can acknowledge that. But again, these people, they don't watch football. They don't. So I'm going to give you the football reason why it makes perfect sense, why Shedeur is taking a longer time to develop, why Shedeur isn't even given the opportunity to leapfrog, and why it's very, very dumb for people to say, oh, well, he can't beat out Dillon Gabriel. So let me take you back from the top, right? Kevin Stefanski runs a spread wide zone offense. Now, if you don't like football, it's your time to leave, okay? Because we're going to actually talk about football. We're not just going to slander players and give no context. Shout out to Dillon Gabriel. Shout out to Shedeur. So, and now this is terrible notes, but this is just for me. So, and we're gonna read this, which goes deeper into it, written August 27th, of kind of what breaks down, and of course we're gonna get deeper into Will Stein's offense and what it does for quarterbacks as well. But at the core of its competency, from what I've understood, and I think what the basic Browns offense understands from Kevin Stefanski is heavy tight end, right? Very, very simple pass completions, right? Dink and dunk, as they say, right? It needs to be quick. It needs to be smooth. And really what you want to do is start opening lanes with your running game, with 12 personnel, with getting bigger bodies around the edge and on the center of your offense to help move on the edge and help your running backs get going. And hopefully that 12 personnel starts bringing safeties down. It starts getting people cheated up, and that opens the pass game for beautiful, deep play action, but simple dinks and dunks to get you where you need to be on those first downs, second and mediums, and to help you convert those third downs, right? That is what it looks like at the core. And if you look deeper into it, it's also a why he chose Dillon Gabriel, and why I've said from the beginning of this was never a fair quarterback competition. And it's not because I think Dillon Gabriel is leaps and bounds above Shedeur. It's not because I think Shedeur is bad. It's because football's about systems. And if you've been watching football long enough, you know that if you have somebody who fits the system like a puzzle piece, in the same way that apparently Dillon Gabriel has, and why we need to give him respect in doing that, if he's done that, it just makes it that much easier. Again, Andrew Berry has gone on record to say, hey, it's like teaching a different language to Shedeur. And it's not because Shedeur's dumb. It's because of Shedeur's offensive coordinators. He had a different one every single year. I know Pat Shermer was the last one. You see how great the Colorado offense is doing, right? Exactly. So it's not the best track record. So he's had different offensive coordinators, and shout out to Dillon Gabriel because he's also had different offensive coordinators. But Will Stein's offense specifically fits what Kevin Stefanski likes to do. So I'm gonna read this snippet. This is what Stefanski quoted when they initially got Dillon Gabriel on why they enjoyed him so much. It's such an all-encompassing evaluation. Stefanski told reporters, everything the guys did in the games was important. We also saw a lot of them out here in practice and how they are at their craft. He's certainly somebody that we think is getting better and better. Gabriel's college track record probably sealed it. 6 seasons across UCF, Oklahoma, and Oregon witnessed him record a 65% completion rate, 18,000 passing yards, 155 total touchdown passes against 32 picks. He had 1,200 rushing yards, 33 rushing touchdowns for good measure. And I also want to add the fact that you have to understand that in an offense that's very lethargic, that has a bad offensive line, having somebody who's mobile like Dillon Gabriel, right? Like, hey, we all love Shedeur. He ain't his daddy. You know what I'm saying? He ain't no Michael Vick. All right, we know that. But Dillon Gabriel can scoot a little bit. He can get himself out of problems. And we're going to speak about why even adding some read option like Jackson Dart did. That's a very big fundamental way to ease your quarterback into the offense, because it allows you to well, your offense and your offensive line, because what happens is from the offensive line, you take out certain read players that you don't have to block, and then on top of that, you allow those legs of your quarterback to become a threat. That changes the numbers on the defense of how they need to defend you. Hopefully, easing maybe an overly defensive edge player. So, but let's read into this. So this is August 27th. So this says Shedeur Sanders' hard work vanishes as Kevin Stefanski finds ideal Browns quarterback, says insiders. Once the Browns locked in veteran Joe Flacco as their starting quarterback, other aspects fell into place. Kenny Pickett was traded away for the third round. Dillon Gabriel stepped into the backup role. Shedeur Sanders found himself pushed to third on the depth chart. For Sanders, this means little to no practice reps, and development will probably come through mental work and outside coaching. So, and these are another thing. These are, again, football things that if you've been watching football long enough, you would know that, hey, third on the depth chart, you're not going to get that many reps. It was a big deal about him not getting what's it called, scout team reps, right? So not only was it well documented throughout the preseason that he wasn't even getting first team reps. The only first team reps he got was the second offense against the first team defense, which he admittedly looked decent at, right? So he never even got the chance to get the timing right with the first team, to get associated with the first team and really be on that level in the way that Dillon Gabriel did. Dillon Gabriel immediately got first team reps. He immediately was put in the fire. Well, not immediately. I do want to take that back because I don't remember it. It wasn't immediate, but he was definitely before Dillon Gabriel. And then obviously with Kenny Pickett being hurt for most of the preseason, it made it even that much easier for Dillon Gabriel to get those reps. So not only was he not getting the bulk of the reps coming from the preseason, you get into the season, and as of in these 4 weeks, we have to assume that he's not getting the reps. And then you might rebut to me, well, what about the report that, after each quarterback session or each practice that both of the backup quarterbacks get a 10 to 15, I think he said, Kevin Stefanski said 10 to 15 extra reps to go ahead and get their, reps in. And I would look at you and say, how useful do you think just an extra 10 to 15 reps is? Like, I want you to answer that. But anyway, continuing forward, right? And then obviously the fan, Ken Carson, broke down the decision. He says his analysis revealed exactly why Stefanski chose Dillon over Shedeur, and it had nothing to do with talent. There you go. Because when Dillon Gabriel goes in, if he has to go in sooner because of injury, he has to be thrust into a position. He's going to do exactly as Kevin says. This is Kevin's guy. There's already the knowledge of the offense. So he'll be able to do it. If it's not that Shedeur will go on his own and completely defy Kevin Stefanski, it's that they might not trust him enough to follow the instructions implicitly, which is interesting. He may not know the offense well enough just yet to be able to do that. Carmen might be onto something, and here's why. Back in Jackson State in Colorado, Sanders played in a rather simplified offense. He tested success there, but NFL offense are comparatively complex, and it takes time to learn. He didn't receive any first-team reps with the Browns during training camp. In fact, the closest he got to first-team reps was when he worked with the second-team offense against the one defense. Instead, Flacco Pickett, who they initially, obviously traded and was injured most of the time, turned with the starting offense. Carmen elaborated on Gabriel's appeal. For Dillon, there's already that knowledge of the offense. If things will go bad, if there's Joe injury, I know that Dillon's a slight, but man, he's going to be able to do exactly what he's told. That willingness to sacrifice personal glory for system adherence became Gabriel's trump card, which I think this is a little extra. I don't think Shedeur is going for singular glory, trying to get receivers and trying to make bigger plays. I think he's trying to get the team wins. But again, you know how they frame things when it comes to Shedeur. But it doesn't end there. Not only has Gabriel been reliable, but during his tenure with the Ducks, he's worked under offensive coordinator Will Stein's high-tempo offensive schemes. His scoring drives under the coach witnessed a pattern of no-huddle plays in quick succession. That spread, or that speed, will ultimately help him succeed with the Browns. After all, it translated best in his 2-minute drills in the preseason game against the Philadelphia Eagles and Rams. Plus, Stefanski's spread-wide offense is akin to Stein's offense. So let's take you through what Stein's offense is about. So this is a little read up, but I think this is perfectly to talk about it. This video is from FTB, and it literally says stylized simplicity, right? So I want you to understand when I say these things, it's never to push down on Dillon Gabriel or to push down on Shedeur Sanders. These are the facts of football. So is Dillon Gabriel more akin to this system? Yeah, but this system isn't some super crazy pro style system. As he describes it, and this is, he's going to talk about it, it's a pro style offense with spread principles, right? It's a simplified pro style offense. So in all honesty, it's pro style with a little bop in it, right? And it adds the fact that if you have did I say bop in it? Man, you gotta unfollow me if I say that again, or unsubscribe. But no, at its core, it's the spread offense. That's what it is. But it has, spread principles with a lot of the identities of pro style. So let's let him, who knows football probably a little better than me, explain what that looks like just a little bit.
As the offensive coordinator there, he'd called plays for Nix as a freshman at Auburn, and Nix ended up shattering his career highs his first year with the Ducks under Dillingham. But Dillingham left after that first year to be the head coach at Arizona State, and almost to spite him, Nix shattered those recently shattered records the very next year. That was Will Stein's first year as the play caller for the Oregon Ducks. In his second year, he had Dillon Gabriel leading the Big Ten across the board, every passing category. Also set a career high in completion percentage, about 10 points over his career average. While all those other West Coast teams struggled.
Sorry, if there's any, if you think the Big Ten does not play with copyright, all right? So we're going to just listen to him as he does it.
To acclimate to the Big Ten, Oregon thrived under Gabriel and Stein's tutelage.
So I just want to point that because, again, the copyright and the music's probably going to get me cooked. But yeah, so like he kind of briefly laid out there, right? He's somebody that had now had a history of producing high-powered players. Now, I forgot what I was saying. My window fell off, so I got to do this quickly. In Midsummer Day, Dillon Gabriel and Dante Moore dap each other up. Despite being different stages of their career, Gabriel and Moore found common ground and would appeal to them at Oregon, a place where they had seen quarterbacks like Bo Nix become the best version of himself while winning. Gabriel's journey is a peculiar one. He went from to UCF before making his way to Oklahoma and eventually back towards the Pacific. It made him one of the longer tenured players in the sport and one of the most experienced. Over the course of 6 seasons, Gabriel thrown 1,800 passes for over 16,000 yards. For reference, Oklahoma State's Alan Bowman, who has been in college since 2018, has thrown 6,000 fewer yards. It's hard to find that type of experience. Offensive coordinator Will Stein said, everywhere he goes, he wins. He won in his high school. He won in college. He played in the biggest settings in college football. For Stein and head coach Dan Lanning, the option to bring Gabriel in was a no-brainer. His Hawaiian roots and experience watching former Oregon great and Hawaiian native Marcus Mariota was a bonus. For Gabriel, however, his first decision following his most productive season yet while at Oklahoma was whether or not to go to the NFL. As Gabriel explained it, once he decided to forego the draft, he wanted to make a different move. Oklahoma had been great for him, but with his offensive coordinator Jeff Lebby leaving and taking a head coaching job at Mississippi State and the Sooners being a younger team, he decided to find a new home. And that kind of goes deeper into the relationship with him and Will Stein. And I just want to point out that, again, we are Dillon Gabriel guys around here, right? And I'm praying for him because we know how bad this offensive line is. I think his mobility can help him. But at the end of the day, I really don't think, as much as people want this to be negative for Shedeur, it's not negative for Shedeur. So y'all have a phenomenal day. Like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't, subscribe if you like football content. Man, did I tell you have a great day? Well, have an even better one. We'll see you next time, people.